last session of the TDP, and this session is about the evaluation of the program. And we all know that it is important, as I have said earlier on, to evaluate whatever program you are involved in or whatever subject you're teaching. You need to evaluate it. So your input is very important for us as Fundani, so that we know whether we are delivering the right goods or not, and where we can change or where we can add or subtract. So your input is very important. I've been doing evaluation every year of this ever since I started coordinating, and now it's been 3 years. So now your evaluation will also give me an impact of what we have been doing. So it's very important that you say as much as you want, be free, be open and honest. Don't say things that you want me to hear, okay? Say things that are there, that you know very well, that you have experienced. I would appreciate that, okay? And you don't even have to put in your name, okay? I didn't provide the space for you to put a name. If you feel you definitely want to put this across and this must be known that it's coming from you, I'm happy with that, okay? But you're not obliged to put your name in there. And so feel free to say as much as you can. It's going to be very important for us because we will be able to use this information this year and look at what has happened in the last 2 years. Okay. You need to be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses in the implementation. We all know that sometimes you have good policies on paper, but when it comes to implementation, it's the opposite. Okay. So we need to know. This evaluation must tell us whether the way we've been implementing TDP is the right way, whether it's been effective or not, okay? And where are the weaknesses in the program? The evaluation also serves as a tool to improve the program, as I've already said, because from the analysis of this data, we will be able to see whether we need to improve there and there, because your feedback will tell us that. You need also to determine at what level of quality the program activities are being implemented. We spoke earlier about the constructive alignment. Remember, we said it's a triangle. There are outcomes there. There are activities in order to achieve those outcomes, and there is assessment. So those three must talk to one another. This is exactly what this evaluation will tell us, okay? Because we want to know whether the activities that we have been doing in these sessions, those activities useful. And the fact that now you're going to be developing your portfolio, which is we are going to be assessing you on the implementation or on the whether you have gained something from this program. All right? So we will be able to say, you know, we have created activities that are talking to the outcomes of the program or not. We also need to find whether there are correlations between the practice and the results. Exactly that. Okay, so that is the reason why we need to evaluate this program. Okay, now this is what we're going to be talking about, which I said I would appreciate if you can be as open and honest as much as possible, because this is important. Okay, we need to really know what we're doing is effective for you or not, and if it isn't, what are we going to do about it? We need to know that. How do you feel about this program? Think about when you started, the very first day of February 2017. you had to go and attend the TDP at 1 o'clock in Cape Town. Just visualize that day. You came in, you didn't know what this program, yes, you've heard about it, that it's for people who have not taught before or who do not have a teaching qualification, and it's meant for the newly appointed lecturers at CPUT, and it's only customized for people at CPUT. And you came in on the 1st of February and you experienced. What did you experience?
Thank you, Doctor. My first lecture, or I first attended a TDP on the topic of decolonization of education. I didn't like it. It was bad. And
in what way, if I may ask?
You know, even if you were so joyful that day, you would just feel your spirit going down.
Is it? Why, if I may ask?
I think
it's important. I'm not like interrogating you, né? It's very important to know.
I think the approach was, I didn't give room to discussion. I think so.
So
it was only, no, people would contribute, but the conclusion was always one-sided. I felt like maybe this course was supposed to come at the end of TDP.
Okay, that section of the curriculum.
I think so.
Okay,
so that people would have mixed and mingled. They know who is who, and then they can freely air their views. Not in the introduction of this course. Otherwise, that day I felt like, no, this course is not for me.
Easy.
Yeah.
Thank you for being honest, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I always look forward to a Wednesday. Besides the food is great. I won't deny that. Nice free lunch. Right, I always look forward to a Wednesday. I'll be quite honest with you. And I think it was worthwhile, very informative. It was also an eye-opener for me personally. What I would have appreciated from the course, I don't know if it's at all possible, perhaps to take a whole day. I'll tell you why. To take a whole day, and how it could be structured is that the first half of the day, that's basically the theory. And then the second half, we do the assessments in class. Because it's quite challenging for me to do the assessments during the week. When we are doing it in class like that, you are here, there's an opportunity to interact, we ask questions, but we all bring our laptops. You do it. And then if we knock off at 4, we knock off, leaving, and then you just upload your assignment. Or if you need to do few touch-ups, you do it and you upload it there on that day. So I would appreciate something like that. Well, I'm not going to be here next year, but for the next cohort, it would be nice.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Okay.
And just to add on what you said about assignments, and if it happens that you didn't submit for a day, you get 0, so that people like me, they will be motivated to do their assignments on time, because you find that after a while you forgot now. And let me give you credit. I thought with these national questions, you were going to, initially when you provided food, I was like, we'll see how it will end. But I have been faithful.
I just want to ask you something, Yolo, about what you said, about having the whole day and then having the assessment task done here. Okay. I'm just thinking, so in other words, the challenge is to go back and do it on your own.
Not really. Not really.
Is that not the challenge?
I would like to do it here in class while we are all here. You've got an opportunity to interact. There's group interaction. You are here as the facilitator. We ask the question, and you push yourself, because everybody will be working on it. And I believe by the time we knock off at 4, if it's 4, you would have been done, and it's uploaded on Blackboard. Then you can get your feedback.
But what about the fact that sometimes you also have to go and do literature research?
Okay, so that can.
No, I'm not like, I want you to comment on that.
Yeah.
I'm not discouraging you. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but I'm just thinking,
Yeah. Alternatively, just trying to look another angle that.
Yeah.
Let's say we do a theory session today. If, let's say, we budget a day, but let's say the first session is half a day, like the normal, we get it. But when we come for the second one,
Yes.
we start with the assignment of the previous task.
Okay.
So by that time, you've read all the pre-readings,
Right.
you've looked at the slide. If you needed to, let's say, do a contract with students, you've done it. But when you come, you spend in the first session, first half of the next session, doing the homework. If you've done it, you just bring it
Yeah.
in to polish it and submit.
Okay.
And then we do the theory.
For the following
Yes,
session.
jalo jalo.
Oh, there was a hand there. Sorry.
Okay.
And I forgot your name. You scarce.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I think mine maybe it's like in addition to what Lillian said. When I came in, I think I came in also, it was the day of...
Was it your first day? Because
Yeah,
that was the second session. The
Yeah,
first
that was
session
the
was
first day.
technology, using engineering.
Yeah,
So that was the second one.
came late. So now, I think the presenter then, I think he initially didn't like take into consideration like the audience that he had, like the approach that he was using was like more philosophical. For me, from the engineering side, I think I was struggling to try to understand because he was quoting people that I think he thought that everyone knew that what those people had said. But for me, I was struggling, and also like even the paper that had been sent, I think I struggled to read everything because I'm now used to things where you've got graphs and figures and those things. So I really struggled at the beginning, but then I think I've gained a lot from
there.
Yeah.
So you went back and read something about it.
My first impression, I was in between. I was not sure what to expect more out of it. So it was not one of those things that you go for the first session and then it gets you excited. It was more of, let's see where it goes.
Right.
But as we went deeper with other sections, it really became interesting. And Wednesday was a must for me. And I feel like, especially for the new people into the teaching industry, we may think we know how to public speak, but there's a lot that we actually need to be informed about. So it was really beneficial. I feel like everybody has to go through this if they have never done a teaching course before.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, okay.
I must say, for me, it was an eye-opener around higher education. I really enjoyed that session that we were convening.
Is it?
For me, it really broadened my scope and really increased my appetite. As a result of doing the TDP now, I think I realized how little I know around higher education. Because whenever we read, I mean, they will refer, let's say you are presenting, you will refer to a framework, then I go and Google this framework and I look at the big document, but the work that's in there requires me to spend even more time on it. So to an extent that I'm probably thinking now of doing some post-grad or some qualification in higher education.
Okay, lovely. That's great. Thank you for that.
For me, TDP really helped me because when I started lecturing, I was told like a week before, like, oh, you're going to be lecturing this subject. And I was given the textbooks that I'm supposed to use. And I just had a week to figure it out myself and run around asking other lecturers. Like, no one taught me how to teach. So I just had to figure it out as I went. So this was good because it actually taught me what to do and how to do it. Because they just threw me into the deep end and I was just drowning.
Yeah.
So TDP actually really helped me.
Okay. Thank you for that.
What I also found really interesting was the PBL.
Yeah.
Those sessions were the sessions were really well delivered, and it says give credit where it's due, so it was really
Great.
I just wanted to say, obviously, first of all, thank you so much for all the hard work that you put into the program. I I really enjoyed it. It challenged me a lot. Because I'm involved in decolonizing the curriculum, I have been implementing a lot of changes in my own curriculum since before I attended TDP. But what was really useful, or what I found the most useful, is that it broadened my knowledge. Because I'm a journalism expert. I'm not an education expert. So it forced me to think more like a teacher, which I think was really quite important, because I'm very learner focused. I've always been, but I really don't like assessments because I always feel like assessments reproduce prejudices. They replicate society's problems because somebody cannot hand in your assignment because this weekend their house got flooded. They don't have access to the internet. All of those issues will always prejudice how learners perform. So because of those reasons, I'm very, obviously I have to set them, but I don't like them. So the assessment focused aspects of TDP were really useful for me in terms of how do I implement these things, how do I think about my rubrics, how do I use tests and that kind of thing. Bloom's taxonomy, although I've encountered it before, the depth and how it kept popping up really helped me understand it even more. There's only two real things that I just wanted to flag, which is one is the assignments. I really struggled with the assignments. I'm still in that struggle. I'm hoping it's going to get better, but I'm still in that struggle with the assessments. Like having a full teaching workload, not having a TA, not having a tutor, having everything depending on you, and being a mother and life, and then having to not only come here, which is really like an effort. If you're coming from, and I'm not saying it's not for others, it's too much. Coming from Ruland Street to Cape Town and then Ruland Street to Belleville, and then have to do an assessment and be expected to do it in X time. I really think it would be great if maybe next year or whenever you give a longer time period. Maybe make it part of the portfolio or whatever works. I could be wrong, I don't know. Then the second part was I really wish that there had been a lot more discussion time. I'm sure a lot of people probably think like I'm such a mic hogger. I know I am. A mic hogger.
Mike.
Yes. Like I'm sure a lot of people think I'm such a mic hogger, but there's a lot of things that I actually asked in class that I actually have the answers for, because I believe that it's so important to have the people in the class shape the experience and the learning experience, because and I implement this in my own classes, that as much as you are the subject matter expert and there's a lot you can teach people, we can teach each other a lot. And I wish I'd had a lot more interaction with everybody. I wish I'd gotten to know a lot more of the people that are on the course with me beyond just like sitting with them in class. So for me, it would be great if the session is an hour and a half an hour has to be for like group and class discussions around the challenges that we're facing. Because while it's possible for someone like me to pick up my hand and say, oh no, but problem-based learning is a problem for me because of X, Y, Z. Other people are not as outspoken as me and won't necessarily force that opportunity if it's not given. So I think it's important for us to constantly be reflecting on our challenges. And I write journal articles as well around what's happening in the classroom and how it's affecting me. So for me, it's very, very important. It's a very important part. So for me, that's the one thing that was missing that I would have wished to see more of. But otherwise, thank you so much. It was amazing getting the pre-readings before, coming into class, there's food prepared, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Asali. Thank you so much. Thanks for that comment. That's very important.
Considering the depth in TDP and the quality of work that you are doing, just wanted clarity on accreditation as a course.
Okay. Currently, it's not an accredited course. Okay. The only course that we have that is also for teaching is the PGD, which is a 2-year part-time course. It's an accredited one. It's slightly different to the TDP in the sense that it's more theory than practice. So the TDP is, yes, there is theory, but mainly we're focusing on practice. And the TDP is only CPUT baby. It's not something that you can say when you get employed in UCT or thingy and say, UWC and say, you know, here's a certificate or something. Other people who know about it will, you know, will take that as a credit, as something very important because you've done this, and but it's not an accredited course. You get a certificate at the end.
No, I'm saying in the future, or are you working on accreditation, or it's literally nothing?
I'm working on accreditation, but the problem is that there must be a decision taken about the PGDIP and the TDP, because the PGDIP is also offered by CPUT in collaboration with UWC and Stellenbosch, and it's an accredited course. So we cannot have both as accredited courses, but we can have a TDP as a short course, whilst the TDP is still as it is, you know, until such time that the decision is made that the PGDIP will only be offered by CPUT, not with other neighbors. Then, in that case, we can have the TDP as we actually will have to modify the structure of the PGDIP to accommodate the practice side of the TDP. And then, I don't know when that is going to happen. When I started, I was also, I also questioned that because it's pitched at the right level, you know, and then I was given the explanation that because there's PGDIP, we can't have two, you know, because they're like same things, you know, unless we merge them or do something about it. And I don't know how long that will be, but yeah, that is the situation. It is a pity because I mean it's a valid course, even if I say so myself. But I didn't develop it. Lorraine did. Other people. Yeah. Many of you have given an indication of what was your impression during that first session. Anyone would like to say something? Lee, you had an impression.
I think in the beginning it was totally new to me, so when I got in there I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And as Lillian also said, for us it was our first lecture, so it was actually the second session that was our first session.
Right.
So to me I was confused as to how this fits into TDP and the purpose and the objective of, I think it's more in the way he was presenting the information. So to me it was a bit confusing. I know we went out of that saying that I hope that for the next session we have another presenter, because really we didn't get anything from that session. And along the way he really lost us. We didn't listen. For us that was the impression. But I think he can structure it in a better way, as they said as well, so that people can take something out of that. But that was my first impression. And to me, when I went out, I thought, oh, I'm not going to like this course. But when we came back for the third session, I think we started learning a lot. So that was my impression.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. In what way is your practice different because of your participation in the TDP? If it is different, if it is not different, still the same old, you can say that. Then you learn.
I think it's very, very much learner focused, or it's changed from what I think teaching is to what I need to mold it into the individual class and how the learning styles of the students so I must mold to their learning styles in there. So it's very much more, I'm very much more focused on the students and getting them transformed to where they need to be. So I think the TDP program as a whole has helped affect that change. My first impression was also, I came late, but I skipped that one. Luckily, I saw the video.
Don't say luckily.
No,
Accept your responsibilities.
it was, I saw the video, and thank you for the video. The
Yeah.
videos were great. Good to catch up.
Okay.
But my first impression was a good one. Positive. And just went through all the way.
Thank you for being honest. I like that.
Okay, well, not really to answer the question, but what I wanted to say is that that is a very pertinent question, because the issue with anything is always the implementation. I mean, you can go to all these workshops on research writing, on all of them. The key thing is that what do you do after you've left that venue?
Yes.
Do you go and implement? One of the things which I really liked, I attended this Blackboard training.
Right.
And then I asked Antoinette, so how do you guys track implementation? Do you do something to see? I mean, we can't waste money do training and then the guys don't implement Blackboard. And then what she said was that, you know what, after some time, we go into the system and we actually see. So they actually give a certificate after they've actually checked, they've monitored that you've implemented.
Right.
Now from a TDP perspective, I don't know how you track implementation. Maybe you check implementation through the portfolio of evidence. I don't know. I'm still trying to grasp the portfolio of evidence, because is the portfolio of evidence really just a production of the assessments that were done and just filing them? Or it's like a holistic overall implementation of what you have done? Is it now really necessary for you to give that portfolio of evidence this year? Why can't you give it next year, after you can now demonstrate that I have implemented? Because some of the things, to be honest, it's not feasible to be implemented this year.
For an example.
For example, I'm now trying to sit down looking at my course in terms of PBL, right? How am I going to introduce PBL? You see what I mean? I'm already doing case studies. Are they good enough? Maybe let me start planning for 2018 and all of those things. But if you declare me incompetent now, I may be competent. I may be competent next year. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
great.
Thank you for that comment, Yolo. And it's very important what you said. With the TDP, yes, we trust that when you develop a portfolio, because remember, in your portfolio you have to reflect about these issues that we talk about here. You have to reflect, give us your reflection. We trust that when you give us that reflection, whether you say you have not yet implemented the PBL because you feel you need more training on it, or whether you say you have, but you're still having challenges, we accept that. But now, I said at the beginning, now I'm doing an impact study now. So the people that I worked with in 2015, now I'm going back to them, but unfortunately, because we're short-staffed, I would have liked to say, perhaps you invite me to a class and you're gonna present today a case study or something, then we can, observe that and then we can chat afterwards. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do a questionnaire, okay, to track whether people have implemented what they, what they learned here or not. And because you are professionals, I don't believe in, micromanaging people. I don't believe in that. I don't want somebody to do it to me. I don't want to do it to the other person. So I trust when you say to me, I'm having a challenge with this particular but I'm prepared to learn. If I can get more training on it, maybe it will be clear to me how I can implement, because disciplines are different. There are certain strategies that you can implement in one particular discipline, but not in the other. Okay, we accept that. But what we do, we give you enough to play around with. You know, we give you so that you can choose which one is working well. Okay, if this one is not working well, how about this one? How about this one? Because we're trying to say to you, lecturing is not the only method of teaching, especially with the kind of students that we have. Those students need to be engaged. Okay? So if you can't implement PBL because your subject is not actually, because even Lorraine, when she presented it, it's mainly very much suitable in health sciences. Okay. I don't know in other subjects, in engineering, but maybe people who are there in the field can see a way around it, even in the other fields. Okay? It's not only health science that you can do it, but it's most suitable in health sciences. But it doesn't stop you from venturing and trying out to see if it's going to work. Even if you take a little bit of it at first, not implement the whole thing, okay? And then see how it goes and build onto that. Okay, so it's not a train smash if you haven't implemented. You will reflect, because that's what the portfolio is about, a reflection of what you've done. How did it go? Why did you do it? So you will tell us on that. But generally, thinking about the presentations, the facilitations, did that meet your needs? Do you think they've...
No, I've already said my part. Sorry, I just have a question. Am I ticking or crossing?
Explain that. Anything? Okay. I think we have exhausted those questions and you've gone beyond that. Now let's get to the one that we need to write. Okay. There's a questionnaire. I must apologize. It's lengthy, but that is the nature of this evaluation. It has to be. We have to look at each and every corner. Please write as much as you can. If you feel you can't, I would like everybody to complete it today and leave it here, right? But please give us more information. You can tick where there is a box to be ticked, or cross, whatever. It's not a big deal, right? And okay, it's quite clear. If there's any question, you want me to take you through this? No, I don't think so myself. It's so easy, it's simple.
Can you remain
But
anonymous?
There isn't a place for name, that's what I said earlier. Or maybe you were not,
No,
not arrived. No, I did say, Leona, that I do not need you to write your name. All I need is for you to give me the information, the feedback, as honestly and openly as possible.
It's going to be part of the impact paper.
That is the part, yeah, that is part of the evaluation program. Yeah.